Thirdly, I believe confused men also settle for less in their life. Psychologist Rollo May picked up on this a generation ago. This was in the 50s when he made this statement, but here's what he said. The clearest picture of an empty life is the suburban man who gets up at the same hour every weekday morning, takes the same train to work in the city, performs the same task at the office, lunches at the same places, leaves the same tip for the waitress, comes home on the same train each night, spends a 2-week vacation at the shore every summer, which he does not enjoy, goes to church but does not really know why he goes, and moves through a routine mechanical existence year after year until he finally retires at age 65 and very soon thereafter dies of heart failure, possibly brought on by repressed anger, though I always have the suspicion that he dies of boredom. That was a view of a psychologist years ago. And one of the observations I've made, though you may not live even in Little Rock, and you don't necessarily take a train, and you don't necessarily vacation at the seashore, but the point is this: many confused men, in whatever setting, settle into an empty rut in their life because they don't know what else to live for. Guys, do you understand how oftentimes we're programmed? About college age, we think we've got this job we're supposed to have, and money we're supposed to make, and things we're supposed to have, and a wife we're supposed to marry. And we move into that thinking because we've been told if we have all those things, we'll be alive. And what happens is we move into that process, kind of like on a conveyor belt, and we move into what I call a standardized manhood process. And after a while, we don't like it. But we don't know what to do about it. And we have no higher calling on our life other than ourselves. And that doesn't satisfy. Confused men settle for less. Fourth, I believe there is no lofty vision of manhood today that's compelling to men. The kind of manhood that calls men up. Several years ago, a frustrated young man wrote me this following poem. He said this: "What is a man? Is he someone who's strong and tall? Or is he taunt and talented as he plays ball? Is he someone who is hardened enough, who smokes and drinks and swears enough? Is he someone who chases women hard with a quest to conquer, but without dropping his guard? Is he someone with a good business mind, who gets ahead of the others with his nose to the grind? Or is he someone who tries his best while not really caring for any of the rest? What is a man? Does anyone know? Tell me, who is the prototype? To whom shall I go?" I think there are a lot of young men today, maybe not expressing it that way, but at the core of their existence, they're saying, who is the prototype of real manhood? And to whom shall we go? In 1 Corinthians 13, the Apostle Paul makes this statement. He says, "When I was a child, I used to speak as a child, and think as a child, and reason as a child. But when I became a man, I gave up childish things." You know, for years I read that verse, and there was something captivating about that verse. There was something that pulled me towards that verse. I wanted to go into that verse. In fact, I wanted to get with Paul, because he made this statement, "But when I became a man," and I wanted to stop him there and say, how did you do that? How did you become a man? And when you became a man, you said you put away childish things. What were those things that you put away? And what new things did you embrace? And Paul, did they give you life? I know I had fun when I was a kid. Can you have fun as a man? Is there a better calling than childhood and boyishness? Is there something to pull me up to a higher mountain where the challenges are just as thrilling and the view is just as magnificent And even more so, can you get me there? That's what I wanted to know. I want to know how to become a man. I want to know what real men do and how they feel and how they act. But it doesn't seem anyone knows today how to answer that question. What is a man? Which leads me to my premise number 5, and it's this. I believe the Bible has helpful insights to all of the above, to all the other 4 presuppositions. Now, I'm aware, by the way, that there are all kinds of men here in the audience today. Some of you are Baptist, some of you are Episcopal, some of you are Jews, some of you are Catholics, some of you come from a very mixed bag. We'll just call you Methobapterians, okay? You come from everywhere. You've had all kinds of mixture in your past. And that's okay. There are some of you here who are non-churchgoers. In fact, there are some of you here who are cynical about religion altogether. And quite frankly, if you and I sat down and talked for a little while, there'd probably be some really good reasons why you're cynical. Let me put you all at ease just for a moment. I have no religious axes to grind here. You're not going to hear me do that. I'm not going to cram my religion down your throat. This is a manhood journey, not a church service. Aren't you glad about that? This is a manhood journey. As Bill said, no offerings, no plea for church memberships. We're not going to hawk anything. The only reason we're here is because we want to help you become better men. And I think that's why you're here as well. Now, I'm going to use the Bible from time to time, and I'm going to use it because it's great literature, first of all. Secondly, it has time-tested wisdom in it that's been proven out over the ages. And thirdly, it's because we need its help. We really do. So these are my 5 presuppositions. Manhood is in a state of confusion. Confused men create major problems. Confused men settle for less. There's no lofty vision of manhood calling us up. I mean, really, do you watch commercials today? Because they speak to our culture. And you know what you see about manhood when you look into the face of commercials? You see the doofus standing there with his tennis racket getting hit in the head with the ball. You see the other guy in the beer commercial looking past these women mesmerized by a bottle of beer. That's manhood in the 21st century. And let me tell you, I laugh too, but when I look at the pain in our world, I stop laughing. Because behind that is a vacuum that's killing us. And we want to go up, don't we? We want to go up. And I think the Bible is going to help us get there, as well as the other material that we'll be talking about in the next few weeks.